Hey guys, Tass here. Welcome to Flash Game Friday. Released this past Wednesday, this is the only level 3, which is the only level game thing where you are going to find my level designs. Evil and dastardly that they are. This game is by my good friend John Cooney, JMTB02, and, whoops, we collaborated on This Is the Only Level 2, and we now collaborate on This Is Only Level 3. This is a developer commentary from my standpoint of the design of this game, what went into it, how it worked, a little behind-the-scenes action, so to speak. So this is just my opinion, not that of John's or Armor Games or anyone else's. Just mine, all greedy, greedy, greedy mine. So, about 3 weeks ago, John talks to me and he says, Tass, we're going to make This Is the Only Level, and we're going to have it done in 2 weeks. Upon hearing this, I immediately started to run around my house, pulling my hair out like my tushy was on fire. How was I supposed to come up with 30 stages, an entire level, and entirely new concepts to make it not a level pack, all within way less than 2 weeks? But I tried. And trying is all we can do. I had been tossing around a couple of ideas in my head for a few weeks or months previously, since it was almost 2 years ago that we made This Is the Only Level 2. We're just going to go over here into the first stage here. I'm going to keep talking. I knew that I wanted to ditch the button, or in addition to the button, I wanted to add a switch, or multiple switches. Initially I was thinking like throw like 5 different switches around the thing, and they would just be binary switches. They would be straight on off, kind of like the button is just straight binary. And then John's immediate question to me saying the switch is, would it be a binary switch or would it be a multi-stage switch? And I was like, I don't know, what do you think? And he's like, we should go with the singular multi-switch. So I was like, okay, there's lots of stuff we can do with that. Let's go with that. And I also had a couple of level ideas, and John had a level idea that involved doors. And my idea involved teleporting with doors, and his idea involved going behind the scenes with doors. So we're like, we have to include doors, and so we did. The game starts off the same way all of the previous This Is the Only Level games have started off, with a simple hit the thing. Basically just an introduction showing it off. This is the first game that actually literally has a tutorial on here at all. The other ones just sort of throw you in and force you to figure things out all by yourself. Then obviously the next is to introduce the advanced concept of the Switch, not that it's very advanced, but the fact that it has multiple positions. So initially it was only going to activate at this position right here, and that was it, but after very quick playtesting, it was decided that that is way too harsh and not forgiving, so instead it's, yeah, everything except for like the bottom 2. Once you get at least to the anything besides the bottom 2, and it gives you like 3 or 4 to play with, it opens. So just do that, it'll open, and you can exit. It's very simple. Under the Sea, this is sort of a level that immediately, like right when we first started talking, John and I both were like, we need a level underwater. Basically sort of ripping concepts from Achievement Unlocked, because that's sort of what This Is the Only Level is. It's like it's just taking stuff from previous Achievement Unlocks and like taking it to the next level. And since Achievement Unlock 2 had water, I was like, well, This Is the Only Level 3 should have water, and John was the same way. We didn't really talk about implementation at all. Like, I just sort of designed stages, and then see, like, the elephant, like, moves like he's underwater. He has infinite jumping abilities and stuff. He sort of swims. My thought on it was, like, the Mario underwater feel, so that's sort of what I was going with. John initially coded it up so that the water wasn't there, but as you flipped the switch, the water level raised up and up and up. And I thought that was okay, but it just doesn't really give the full underwater feel. Like, I really wanted the whole level to be underwater a la Mario, so that's what we ended up going with. And you can see the gravity is a little bit different with the water. There's more resistance involved. Water, water, water. This is one of my favorite levels. And it's just, it's sort of like how this entire game works. I come up with an idea, and John takes my idea and just makes it awesome. because I had the idea. I'm like, hey, we should have a level where the elephant grabs the switch and uses it as a gun and shoots the gate and destroys it. And I kind of was initially, I didn't really know what I had in mind in terms of implementation, but the way that John coded this up and has this little elephant running around, and then it uses the graphic from like Elephant Quest, it just works so well. The one minor thing that I didn't even tell John about is I kind of think it probably would have been okay to have less shots needed to break the gate, but that's a super minor critique of it. Although some people did have issues without realizing that clicking was actually what it took to fire off the gate, but some basic, messing around and playing with things. You really only have so many methodologies to fire, space, enter, mouse click, and mouse has certainly been used in previous incantations of the game, and if you go below the game there are controls, arrow keys to move, mouse click may be needed, so it does tell you. Pastries in space. Oops. What is going on? Oops. That was from moving and then right-clicking, and that tends to happen, and you lose focus. Again, another concept from Achievement Unlocked 2 that has been brought to This Is the Only Level 3 is hitting space to poop pastries. Boom! Poop pastries. So this is just the way of introducing pastry pooping to the game, is pastries in space. Space is the clue to use the space bar, and pastries. So this is just showing off, hey, you can poop pastries, so poop a pastry, hit the switch, it'll flip all the way, and you can reach the exit. Pretty simple and straightforward. Speak, friend, and enter. This is a level that I wanted right from the start because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, nerd, you may say. Call it what you will, but I like Lord of the Rings, so why not throw in the riddle, the classic Moria riddle of speak, friend, and enter. But of course, if you are a real aficionado, you would know that friend is not the correct answer. The correct answer is melon, which is the Elvish word for friend. So, if you, I don't know if this is, oh, I am logged in. So if you go to options, you can see invisible mode, find the stage 6 Easter egg. So there is an Easter egg in stage 6, so we're going to use the shortcut. Boom, go from there straight to there. It's kind of the shortcut for pathfinding. So once this has come up, you can type in friend and the gate opens. Or you can type in melon. Invisible mode unlocked. So there you go. And of course, hitting D both opens the gates and pushes you forward. So you can just hit and hold D and go straight to the exit. So there you go, there's the Easter egg, which I'm sure some people will figure out just by accident because they understand the reference and therefore went straight to melon as the first answer, as my good friend Mr. Rubik's did and my girlfriend Horley did. Both very cool people went straight. Classic puzzle methodology, right click to do something or other. Just for whatever reason we hadn't used it in either of the previous 2 games, so that was an easy. We were definitely having trouble filling 30 stages for this game, because you overall are needing 90 now across 3 games with no overlap, and that's tough to do. That's a lot of different ways to be creative, so sometimes you have to just go back to old reliable, even though it's been done before. People, I think it still works, because people, they recognize it fairly quickly, and it allows them to feel like they're making progress and that they are smart. Oh, hey, I know this one! And it helps them to click, even though you're still fairly early in the game. I think it bonds the user with the game experience and helps them to push forward. So I mentioned John wanting doors. This is John's stage. I believe he took the idea from a Paper Mario level, I want to say. I haven't played Paper Mario, but John was sort of telling me where it came from. Basically, you go through a door, and you sort of wind up behind the stage. And it's either like some Kirby or I think it's a Paper Mario thing, where you wind up behind the stage, and it looks very similar to this in that game. So that's where John took the idea. And you can't die when you're behind there. And then you have to exit out another door, but you can only flip the switch when you're backstage. It's sort of like I don't know, the other way we could have done it is like just made the switch invisible, and that way it would have been like the switch is on the other side of the door. I don't know. I just kind of thought of that now. That might have added to the level, but oh well. Should have done this commentary before we released the game. Again, my buddy Mr. Rubik's has been begging John for multiple years to make a Run Elephant Run 2, and John just sort of hasn't. So I tried to really push for a Run Elephant Run themed level for this game, but I guess for whatever reason it was a little challenging to code. It would have taken too long in our initially thought 2-week, wound up being 3-week time frame for the game. So instead we went with an Elephant Rave themed level, which is this. It has the background from Elephant Rave, and it has the lasers firing down from Elephant Rave. We were going to go and throw the Elephant Rave music onto the stage, but I don't know, I guess we didn't. But so basically you just have a little extra stuff, kind of reminiscent of level 25 of This Is Only Level 2, where like you go under the spikes and the spikes drop down, except this is all randomized throughout the level. So I guess except there's nothing that comes on the gate, which makes sense. Don't want to die right when you're starting, just penalized for no reason. Speaking of the music, we initially had some polka, although it wasn't as like hard, cool polka. It was a little more like light and airy polka, and John decided he didn't like it. Instead went with the campy, folksy, banjo-y music instead. I don't know, I'm not a big music person, so I never really commented on it. From what I've read on the comments, I haven't really seen too many positive comments on the music, but oh well. John likes the music, so that's what really matters. That's not a big deal. You can always mute it, but I do think I don't think the music doesn't go with the game. Like, although I think we might have done like a level with that was sort of American Graffiti. I think that's the painting with the pitchfork and like the farmer's hat. I forget what the name of that painting is. American something. Anyway, but I think that would have like a folksy elephant level where he has a hat and a pitchfork and he goes across the level. I think that would have fit well with the music, and it kind of would have tied it in a little bit. Anyway, Farewell to Fat. The reference, it's from a Richard Simmons infomercial. I googled for something that I could use that was sort of like weight burning and Richard Simmons, and this is what I came up with, and it works for the level stage. The original concept was by Dan McNeely, who is the owner and CEO of Armor Games. He tossed a bunch of level ideas our way, and one of them was he wanted a fat elephant that would have to get on a bunch of gym equipment found throughout the level to get thin, which doesn't necessarily work very well with the general theme, all-encompassing theme of the game, where like you don't really add or remove elements too much from the game. You kind of keep it very static. And so we definitely just modified that theme where you have a fat elephant having to get thin, and we sort of made it a little funnier. And just he has to poop pastries to get thin. For some reason, re-eating pastries does not make you fat, so you just poop a bunch of pastries, and all of a sudden you're back to thin elephant. Hit the switch, and you can go through the gate. You could have gone over to the gate, and you just couldn't have fit through. Back and forth forever. Again, it was just a level I was like, let's show off the switch. So the switch acts as... We had a level like this sort of with the button. You had to hit the button a bunch of times, and each time you hit the button, it went up a little bit. Sort of the same way with the switch. Each time you go with the switch, it raises and lowers it, so you could go back and forth forever. Although it doesn't start lowering again if you go too much. The name of the level comes from a scene in an indie movie called Me and You and Everyone I Know, or You and Me and Everyone I Know. I don't know. I actually haven't even seen the movie, but because of the internet, I've seen the well-known scene from that movie, which involves two kids, especially one who's like 5 or 6, typing away on an instant message chat with a woman, and they're saying what they want the woman to do, and the little child of about 5 says he wants to poop back and forth forever, where the poop goes from his butthole into her butthole, and then from her butthole back into his butthole, and they poop back and forth forever. So I thought I just wanted to work that in as a level name, sort of like how I wanted to work in My Keys Are Sticky, but John overruled me on that one for the last one. I think he just didn't know the reference, or it's not as obvious of a reference, but I hope for anyone who did who's familiar with the movie or that scene at least appreciated the reference of the stage name, because I find it funny. Addition and subtraction. This level has caused some initial confusion with people due to the numpad not working with it, and also hitting shift and hitting, because the purpose of the level is hitting the plus key raises the gate and hitting the minus key lowers it. However, the plus key on the numpad does not work, and initially, although I think it should work now, and hitting the shift and then hitting plus, which since plus is a shift character, didn't actually work initially. You basically hit enter or the equal sign as opposed to plus, but holding shift and hitting it should now work as well. So I don't know why is my elephant stuck? My elephant isn't moving. Oh, because I'm holding the wrong keys. That would be why. Silly me. I was on ESDF as opposed to WASD. Anyway, so that should be fixed. That was a glitch with us. Slingshot, again, this was something that we all sort of wanted in one form or another. I was sort of initially thinking like a Fragger type level, or a Gibbets, I guess, sort of level, where it's like a physics shooter, where you have a power bar and an angle, and you hold and gain power and then release, and then you fling to the exit. John had a similar idea, but he wanted to base it off his own previous game, Warp Shot. So that's sort of what we went with, because it's all basically the same mechanic of a physics shooter. But since John already had the Warp Shot mechanic and code from the game Warp Shot, that's what we went with, because it was nice and easy for him to code. And when you're coding 30 basically different games, it's all about ease of coding. So you just click and drag power and that, and you shoot yourself to the exit. Bad Little Ugly Elephant. This level sort of came out of a couple of stuff. I wanted a level that was going to be a bunch of keyboard references. Initially I wanted it to be like insert tab, enter home or something that sort of made sense, and then you would hit like the insert key, then the enter key, then the tab key, and then the home key. And John, of course, who is a big Mac user, was like, there is no home key on Mac keyboards, and so I'm like, damn you Mac users. So we couldn't do that. So we had to come up with something else, and I was like, well, how about have him spell out blue somewhere on the stage? But that was sort of a little too easy and straightforward if it was static. So this is the one random level in the entire game where if you die, the letters rearrange. And there's also 3 other letters on the stage to make it a little more tricky. If you pick up any of those letters, you also die. If you pick up the letters in the wrong order, you die. It's a little unforgiving, but, well, tough. It's an easy game for the most part. So yeah, so you have to spell out, and the clue in the hint, Bad Little Ugly Elephant, is the first letters, B-L-U-E. That's what they spell out. You can also just get it from trial and error. There's no real meaning behind the fact that the other 3 letters spell out car. I think John just, unless John has some meaning behind that. I just told him to add a couple of extra letters. Initially I wanted it to be red, but red also has an E, so that sort of screwed things up a little bit. So he went with car. Anyway, it works. So that's Bad Little Ugly Elephant. That was the best acronym I could come up with for blue. The TOUHOU project. If you click, there you go. Oops, I was too busy talking. So there you go, you click. I definitely clicked. So you click, and red, you can absorb. Okay, I don't know why that's not working. Whatever. Okay. I don't know. My clicks weren't working for some reason. I think maybe if you try clicking when you're over the door, it might not work. I don't know if that's a bug. No, that works. Weird. Anyway, so whoops. So yeah, it's just basically just a level where it's sort of TOUHOU, bullet maze, bullet style shooter up game, and you still just have to get to the exit. No big deal. Although when you get to, why does that not keep switching? Something is wrong with the game. John, what's wrong with? Oh, that's another thing. The elephant can bounce on corpses. John just felt like adding that because John likes funny things with corpses. I'm going to leave this level so that I don't have to keep beating it. So anyway, John likes things with corpses, so you can bounce on corpses now, and you can like kick corpses and they go flying around. It's actually kind of annoying when you're trying to like speedrun or play other modes, but it's still funny to bounce on corpses and stuff. You have to open another window, of course. Play on, you have to burn the rope, but so you have to open another window. So let's go and copy the link. Control N, we will open another window. And in another window, oh, there's the switch. So flip the switch. And we can close that, and it flipped the switch here. Yay! So yeah, again, Achievement Unlocked 2, it featured a level with a second instance of the game, where the hot coffee and cold coffee stages, so why shouldn't this game have a level that features a second instance? Basically, anything that you find in Achievement Unlocked, you will eventually find in a This Is the Only Level game. Deadly Walls Afloat was originally designed to be a ball revamped style level, although for some reason the downward gravity force got removed and it just became like a overhead 2D puzzler, I guess, where you can't touch the walls. But there's zero G for this. You just have to move around. You have to avoid the door. Like if you go through the door with any sort of downward pushing or momentum, you wind up through the other doors. So you sort of best to avoid the doors. I kind of wanted John to just disable doors altogether for this level, but oh well. You can go around the door. It's not a big deal. So that's Deadly Walls Afloat. Multiple elephantality disorder. Because it's not a multiple personality disorder, because it's an elephant, not a person, so it's multiple elephantality disorder. Basically, this was a John designed level where he's just like, let's ghost mode some elephants. I was like, okay, there's nothing really special or different about it. You just have to beat the level 6 times, and all of your previous beats and incantations are ghosted around on the stage with you, which is just really cool to watch because you can go through in different patterns or something if you don't care about your time. And you can see the elephant jumping around all across the stage. Takes the mechanic from Time Emu, I assume, where he has multiple instances of the emu doing things, so it was easy enough for him to code. Bombs away! In this level, pastries act as bombs, and you have to destroy your way into the exit. You know, standard fare. Another John level. John took his code from Llama Adventure, since he's a big text adventure person. You arrive, I had nothing to do with this level. You arrive in a dark, damp level with several cube-shaped blocks. A pungent odor of sweet, sticky pastry rolls over the tiled floor. Ahead you see a switch and a pipe to take you from level to level. So you would think, oh, we can just skip to pipe, but you can't. Your path to the pipe is blocked by a gate. If only there was a switch to open it. So, switch! Click! As you push the switch, the gate opens. The large pipe is now accessible. Not exactly a hard text-based adventure, but a text-based adventure nonetheless. Switched up, we've sort of had a level like this in every game, where hitting the switch does the opposite of what you want it to do, so flipping the switch lowers it, so don't flip the switch. Normally we'd have this earlier in the game, but it was sort of one of those, we didn't initially want it in the game because it's been done before, but we ran out of game ideas, so we used it. Sue us. So what? Cage the elephant. This was a last minute idea that I had when we were scratching around for the last like 3 or 4 level ideas. The idea was taken from the rock band whose name is Cage the Elephant, and then we just made it literal. So you have to hit left and right or A and D a bunch of times, and you can break out of the cage. Elephant Rage. Well, that was Rage Elephant Rage. And Rage Elephant Rage was the Elephant Rage level, but it was named Run Elephant Run style. High jump. This is basically a level where the more times you jump, the stronger your jump gets. And as you can see, there is an invisible barrier blocking your way. So, oh, almost. And there we go. Yay! And now we can get it and get it out. Yay! High jump. Whoa! That was cool. I hadn't done that before. Yay, bugs. Tricky doors. This was my original, the final what happened with my original idea of teleporting doors. I initially sort of wanted them like more maze-like and walled off from each other with like a bunch, like 8 or 10 different doors. And you sort of had to find the right path between multiple doors. And there'd be like 2 or 3 doors in one section, and you would have like this long pathfinding adventure through doors to get yourself eventually to the exit door. But that just didn't work out very well. So instead, these 3 doors all sequence each other, so that gives you the clue that you should do something else. So you go to this one, oh, and not only do you exit out that door again, but you open the gate at the same time. So there you go. Pie in the sky, again, another very classic, classic level. You know, just type pi. The number pi, not PIE. And we put it out to 8 digits because that's enough that you can remember it, but more than most people naturally know. So you either had to guess a bunch of letters and a bunch of numbers for pi, or you had to go out and look it up. Because most people know like 3.1415, but 9265 is a little bit more than most people know. So we did want it that, short enough to remember, but long enough that you probably didn't know it offhand. And the VELOCIRAPTOR. Standard fare of a level, just with the VELOCIRAPTOR from This Is the Only Level 2, which was unlocked by beating the game in a really fast time. And he unlocked, like, I don't know what he unlocked, but the VELOCIRAPTOR is really fast, so this level, not only are you the VELOCIRAPTOR, but the whole level plays at 3 times speed. And hyper mode, basically, for that level. Sadly, on hyper mode, that level doesn't play at 9 times speed. Hyper mode is capped at 3 times speed. Apparently, John tested that level on 9 times speed, and he said it was instant death. Frankly, I wanted to test it myself to see what it was like, but I didn't get the opportunity. High scoreboard snake champion. It is exactly what it sounds like. High scoreboard, which is on the menu, and scoreboard, become the champion of snake. I'm going to call hacks on all of these. Anything in the 112 and under range is going to be hacks. Yeah. Unless I see it, I'm calling hacks. Anyway, so I didn't even know this thing existed, but John was like, hey, we can code in this on the AGI. AGI is the Armor Games interface or something. I forget what the I stands for, but it's the Armor Games API for submitting scores, badges, if they ever enable that feature set for their site, and other analytics back-end feature sets. It's all part of their AGI, which comes up like this, and John was like, hey, that little box in the upper left, you can code it. So let's code a little mini game in there and make it a level. I was like, okay, how about snake? Initially, I was thinking Arkanoid as another option, but it was a little, Arkanoid would be a little bit too small. Even the snake is pretty small, playing it in this resolution, but, you know, it's okay. So anyway, you only have to get 5, and you can close it, and you can continue, and the gate opens. Misplaced door. Look at that, the doors move. All of the doors move. So, just move them there. There was a level in, I believe it was This Is the Only Level 1, where all you had to do was just click the exit, like wherever you clicked, that's where the elephant went. So this is sort of like the next variation on that. Just move the door past there, and you can exit the door right there. Revenge of Amazing. Amazing was a level in This Is the Only Level 2, where there was invisible walls, and you had to pathfind your way through. So this time around, we made it a little bit more complex of a maze. See, here's the problem. If you go through here and try to continue, well, one, you can drop down here, but see, you can't even get, or you have to go around up here, and then you can get up here, but see, that was actually a mistake. There shouldn't be an empty block there, but you can get up there. See, you have to go back this way, otherwise the gate won't open. So then you come back down here, and now you have two different ways that you can exit. You can exit up this way, go out there, and then exit out here. Or you can just come down here. And I timed both ways out. It's slightly faster to go around this way. So there's lots of different pathfinding involved with the maze. And door-to-door pastry switching, which is the next evolution of just standard level stage 5, where you go and you poop a pastry and hit the switch. Now you have to poop a pastry through a door and hit a switch. So there you go. And that is the game. I've shown you the Easter egg, I've shown you the behind the scenes. You win. No, we don't have anything awesome to give you. But maybe we can assign you a title. And because I talked to you for so long, I'm going to get a really bad title. In fact, the worst title you can get. Apparently you cannot fail in this game though, but merely Elephantine Run. I'm not going to submit that. I've unlocked extras, and if you want to know how to access stage 31, just click the elephant a bunch of times. And you can see that you're making progress. Oh hey, now we're on stage 31, Undefined, which has been an Easter egg in all 3 games. It is not beatable. You'd think that after 3 games people would learn by now that stage 31, Undefined, is not beatable. But people keep asking, how do I beat stage 31? Which is half the fun, that people will have to keep asking how to beat it, even though it's not beatable. But they keep trying. Games with an unbeatable final stage are fun. Anyway, so I hope everyone has a great new year and enjoys This Is the Only Level 3. I'm Tass, this has been another Flash Game Friday, a developer commentary for This Is the Only Level 3. I will see you in 2012.